Hello everyone, and welcome to the In Nature's Realm, the Journal of Australian Fly Fishing. The fly that we're going to tie today is called the wiggle nymph. Now this fly has two sections, a body with a one hook knotted, and then the thorax with one hook knotted. So we start just behind the eye of the hook and we advance down to the bend of the hook, stopping when we're in line with the barb. And we take a hackle feather from a cape, and you can use any type of cape if you want. It doesn't have to be the expensive ones. It can be just the Indian capes, which we'll have an example of in just a few seconds for us to have a look at. And we strip the fibres from the feather to create the tail of the nymph, and there we have the cape. So we tie in the bunch of fibres for the tail at that position there, and then we trim the excess off. Now the next material that we'll need is chocolate brown seal's fur. Now we tie this in at the position of where we tied the hackle fibres, and we need to spin this onto the thread. We have some here. We only need a small amount of the seal's fur. Spin it on. Get it at the start as very fine as you can, and then create it much thicker as you go towards the eye of the hook. Okay, so we will now wind the seal's fur around the shank of the hook, creating the body. Remember, when you are spinning it onto the thread, do it very tightly. The seal's fur is very difficult to spin onto the thread than other materials. And we create a small diameter at the position of the tail, and the diameter increases as we go towards the eye of the hook. Okay, now we turn the fly and the hook upside down, and the next material that we need to tie in is the fluffy feather, the fluffy fibres at the base of a mallard flank feather. And we just tear off a bunch of them, and these act as the gills of the nymph. In the water, they will actually pulsate and look like the gills of a nymph. That if you actually see a natural, their gills all move. They a remarkable rate actually. So we tie those fibres in. And now we finishing off this section of the fly. Okay, we remove this section of the fly. We have a look at the fibres first, just seeing if they, yes, beautiful length there, the whole length of the hook shank there, and then we we'll now remove that section of the fly and place in the vise the next hook, which will be the thorax of the actual nymph that we're tying. Okay, we start our thread just behind the eye of the hook, advancing down towards the bend of the hook, again stopping when in line with the barb. Now what we do is we take a section of monofilament, and I like around about a 6 pound breaking strain, that's plenty there, and we tie the monofilament into or onto the hook and advance it to the eye, and we need to double the monofilament again over, and then tying it down. This can be very difficult because it's just awkward, but it's just a matter of taking it nice and slowly. And at our point here, we bring back the mono again, or bend it backwards, and then we tie that in again, going up towards the eye of the hook and then back down. And that gives us a solid foundation of the monofilament, which is where we attach the body, and we do that by just poking the monofilament through the eye of the other section of the nymph, and then creating just a small loop so that the fly or that body section can wiggle. Cut that off, and then advance to the eye of the hook. And back down to the bend of the hook. Okay, now at this point now, we just want to secure that monofilament in a bit more securely, and what we use is the UV fluid, and put some of the fluid onto the shank of the hook where we tie it in, and then we use our UV light to dry that, and we have a solid foundation that will hold up to any struggling or big trout that might be of a big size. Next, we get the fibres from the base of a mallard flank again, which again imitates the fibres or the gill fibres of the nymph, and adds a lot of pulsation to the fly and cut the excess away. Okay, next we take a pheasant tail and we take the fibres, or strip some fibres from the pheasant tail, and this will be our wing case. We'll tie that in at this position, and there's our wing case material. And then tie that in and trim away the excess. Okay, after binding that down, we take again some chocolate brown seal's fur and create the thorax of the nymph. Again, make sure you spin nice and tight. Alright. Just about at the end. And we're now bind just behind the eye. We'll bring the wing case over, making sure it's flat along the thorax, and then tie that down. Now this fly has a great action in the water. The body section wiggles and goes up and down, and really a great attractor to any trout or any fish that you are after. The whip finish, cut the thread, and we're basically done. All we've got to do now is just to take our needle and just prick a few fibres from the thorax, just so that it gives a good pulsation in the water. That seal's fur. That's a great thing about seal's fur. It's got a beautiful pulsation in the water or action, and pricking those fibres out just helps that a lot better. Okay, so now I'll just show you the wiggling action of the body section at the back. It's fantastic. Great fly to tie. Give it a go, everyone, and thank you very much.